the budget of the OTR. We examine one of the largest increases in the entire fiscal year 2026 budget of the government. Ang total budget po ng DOTR is set to receive 189.3 billion pesos or a 115% increase from last year. Is that a correct figure, Mr. President?
That's a correct figure, Your Honor.
Yes, so malaking pondo po ito, and with the budget this big, of course, we also expect big results. And not only in infrastructure, but also in job generation. I was listening attentively to the interpellations of our Tita Ganda, Senator Lauren, and we have learned a lot, and also will no longer touch on some of her questions. And it's just that I'm also a bit concerned with regard to continuity of the programs of the department. Every time po nagpapalit ang administrasyon, nagpapalit ang presidente, nagpapalit ang secretary, minsan nagkakaroon ng disruptions. Hindi pala minsan, parang almost sure nagkakaroon ng disruptions, no, Mr. President. Kaya I share the sentiments of Senator Ligarda. Mr. President, at the onset, may I just put into the records our sincerest thanks and gratitude to our chairperson, Senator Gatchalian, Senator J.V. Ejercito, for sponsoring the budget of the OTR. We examine one of the largest increases in the entire fiscal year 2026 budget of the government. Ang total budget po ng DOTR is set to receive 189.3 billion pesos or a 115% increase from last year. Is that a correct figure, Mr. President?
That's a correct figure, Your Honor.
Yes, so malaking pondo po ito, and with the budget this big, of course, we also expect big results. And not only in infrastructure, but also in job generation. But before I go to job generation, maybe these figures would help, as the Senate President a while ago made mention. For 2026, ang total expenditure program ng DOTR sa committee report po natin sa Senado ay 189.289 billion, which is higher by 8.51% from the GAB na 174 billion, 174.436 billion, but lower by 4%, 4.08% from the NEP level, which is 197.331 billion. Is that the correct figure, Your Honor, distinguished colleague?
That is correct, Your Honor. That's a correct figure.
Thank you, Mr. President. Maybe it would also help and give light to what the Senate President made mention a while ago, no? So, mas mataas po yung binigay ng ating committee report mula po doon sa GAB level, Mr. President. Mr. President, let me go to the meat of this representation sa advocacy, which is job generation. Alam natin yung departamento ng Department of Transportation ay napakalaking sektor para po tignan ng ating pamahalaan when you look at job creation and job generation, Mr. President. May we know, first question, may we know how big is the sector in terms of employment at ano po yung percentage nito sa ating gross domestic product? I have some figures, but I'm not sure if this is correct figures na isinabmit po sa atin. Just to put on record, Mr. President. Employment po ng sector ng transportation.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. President, based on an ADB study, the South Commuter section of the North-South Commuter Rail System alone is expected to generate a total of 350,000 direct, indirect, and involved jobs, Your Honor. In the north segment of NSCR is if it's included in the Metro Manila subway, MRT 7 and LRT 1 Cavite extension are included. The number will easily exceed 1 million jobs created.
That's direct and indirect, no? Mr.
Direct
President.
and indirect, Your Honor.
So, Mr. President, yung sa buong sektor ng transportasyon, we're looking at, dito lang ho, no, sa binanggit po ninyo, about 1.3 million sa dalawang proyekto lang. But in the totality, Mr. President, we have gotten this data that states right now, the Philippine transportation sector is employing 3.7 million workers. Please correct me if I'm wrong, if these figures are inaccurate. 3.7 million workers as of now. And if that is the case, then that is 12.7%. That's 12.7% of our total labor force, Mr. President. Malaki po. In fact, there's also a report that the Philippine transportation sector covering yung rail, yung roads, aviation, and maritime, it's rapidly growing. It's a rapidly growing industry contributing to 13% of our GDP. Would this be an accurate or at least close figures, Mr. President?
Yes, Your Honor. According to Secretary Lopez, that is the correct estimate.
That's a correct estimate.
Yes.
So yung 3.7 million workers, binabanggit nyo po, yung dun sa dalawa na binanggit nyo po, madadagdagan pa ng 350,000 direct and indirect jobs dun sa MRT 7, etc., another 1 million. Dagdag po yan, hindi ito kasama na cumulative ang lahat, Mr. President, ng sektor, ng buong sektor, Mr. President.
Yes, Your Honor, that's additional, especially once operational already, these existing railway lines that are being constructed.
Malaking bagay po, Mr. President, and the distinguished sponsor would attest to this. Ever since we became friends and seatmates and brothers here in the Senate, we always talk about this particular topic of infrastructure, in railways, in roads, etc., especially railways because that's very close to the heart of the distinguished sponsor. We always talk about job generation, Mr. President. So I think it is important also from this representation's point of view to look at the proposed budget of the department and say, how many jobs are we looking at? How many jobs are we projecting to generate by the transportation sector? Perhaps ataduhin po natin, no, in this particular budget that we are discussing, maybe we can find out, meron po ba tayong tina-target or committed job targets per sector? For instance, railways, sa roads, sa maritime, sa aviation. Meron po ba tayong ganitong mga pag-aaral as to how many jobs will be created, Mr. President?
Usually, Your Honor, Mr. President, that for example, they will submit a study. For example, we're applying for an ODA or that's for or any requirement. For example, with JICA, ADB. That's part of the feasibility study. Yung pong jobs that will be created or be generated because of the said project, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. President. And you know, I asked that question because I found out, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, that the DBM only approved 158.294 billion under the NEP out of the 464 billion requested by the Department of Transportation and Railways. Is that a correct figure, Mr. President?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Yes. So, Mr. President, having said this was further reduced to 135 billion under our very own Senate committee report on the GAB, with cuts heavily affecting capital outlays, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, itong mga nakat po na ito, at kanina tinatanong ko po, binanggit ng ating sponsor, meron silang mga pag-aaral, meron silang mga preparation tungkol dito, yung trabaho para sa Bayan Act is already a law, yung master plan, employment master plan ng pamahalaan ay gumagana na. So gusto nating malaman sana, Ginoong Pangulo, maapektuhan po ba yung naging target, naging, I don't know if you already had a commitment with the DepDev and DOLE and the council that is taking care right now of our employment master plan. Mag-a-adjust po ba dahil dito sa mga kaganapan na ito, Mr. President?
Your Honor, Mr. President, through the Senate's intervention, the major priority programs or foreign assisted projects, especially the North-South Commuter and Metro Manila Subway system, will be assured that it will be full blast from now. Unlike when 2 years ago, when, as I mentioned earlier, that yung pong funds nito were lodged in the unprogrammed funds and really had disastrous consequences. Nag-delay po, and then we had commitment fees, which resulted in JICA going to the President himself to complain about the delays. So medyo nakakaya
Because it was transferred from the regular GAA to the unprogrammed. Is that
is correct.
Accurate, Mr. President?
From a program appropriation, it was lodged in the unprogrammed appropriation.
You and I, Mr. President,
We know the reason.
know very well the reason. Yeah, as you mentioned.
That is correct.
And you also, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, you also know very well that this representation is allergic to that unprogrammed funds. And the chairman of our Senate Finance Committee, who just stepped in, know very well the challenges and the hocus-pocus happening with the unprogrammed funds. But I will not go there, Mr. President, but I'm more interested, again, in the job creation, in the commitments, probably if there's a commitment from the department as to how many jobs will be created. Because you made mention, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, that with the 3.7 million employed Filipinos in this particular sector, you're looking at additional 1.3 million just with the two projects that you made mention a while ago. So that would increase the number of employed workers in the Philippines, in our country, by at least 1.3 million, and that will reach at least 5 million workers in the sector, Mr. President. Is that a correct statement? Despite the fact that the request made by the department to the DBM ay hindi po na-aprobahan, Mr. President.
Yes, that's a correct figure or estimate, about 5 million, but it will just be delayed a little considering that the project will be delayed from 2028. It was pushed back to 2032. So
2032?
Apo, 4 years in the delay as a consequence of that, lodging it in the unprogrammed funds. So ganun kagrabe, yung naging epekto. So they are still confident
I'm a bit confused, Mr. President, dahil parang 1 year lang naman yung difference, but naging 2032 ho?
Because the reason being that the billings or the progress billings during that year, that it was lodged in the unprogrammed funds, was not only for 1 year. It was an accumulation of several years. Nagkaroon pa ng suspension of works. So nagpatong-patong talaga. So sad to say that the project has been pushed back by 4 years.
So, Mr. President, the additional 1.3 million jobs that we were supposed to generate and create through the two projects that the distinguished sponsor mentioned a while ago, i-distribute din po yan in the next 5 years. Is that correct? Or it will be achieved by next year, Mr. President? Kasi ongoing naman eh. It is possible, right?
The direct employment will be distributed, Your Honor, Mr. President.
The direct.
What we have to wait for is the indirect. No?
Siguro,
Yun ang
Mr.
hintay
President,
natin.
I will no longer belabor the issue. Perhaps if we can also just get this data from the department to be submitted to this representation or to the committee at least, yung pong projected jobs that will be generated in this particular sector. Kahit po yung subsector na natin, railways, roads, maritime, and aviation, Mr. President. That would be good, Mr. President, so we can monitor and kung may kailangan tayong gawin, whether legislation or legislative action, we can help in any way we can, Mr. President.
Yes, the OTR Secretary said they will comply.
Mr. President, hindi ko lang makaligtaan yung pong requested capital outlay. Medyo mabigat din po ito yung capital outlay, no, na hindi po binigay, and at the same time kinat sa GAB, kinat pa rin sa ating Senate Committee report. Na ang nangyari po ay na-reduce ito ng 135.572 billion under the Senate Committee report. So ito hindi po ito makakaapekto, especially na mostly capital outlay po ito, Mr. President.
What is more important, Your Honor, Mr. President, that yung pong foreign assisted projects natin, the main priority programs, masigurado, no, na malagyan ng pondo. So that's why we put it in the program appropriations. No? So malaking bagay po yun. And that will be our main growth driver for the DOTR. And then yung pong malalagay portion will still be placed in the unprogrammed appropriations. But hopefully, with the support of Your Honor and the body, I will be proposing a special provision wherein once meron pong progress billing, meron immediate release already para wala hong delays, because this was a concern raised by JICA and the Japanese Embassy. So yun po ang ating pong...
Mr. President, just for the record also, Mr. President, this was also discussed last year and this was also mentioned last year na ito po ay nandun mismo sa General Appropriations, the Senate Committee report, Mr. President. And nawala po ito eh. Napunta po sa unprogram, hindi ho ba? So ngayon, Mr. President, ano yung assurance natin na by the time na aprubahan natin ito, pagdating po sa BICAM, hindi na mapupunta ito sa unprogram, Mr. President? Kasi binabanggit nyo, may ilan po na mapupunta pa rin sa unprogrammed, Mr. President. Is that correct, Your Honor?
We discussed this already with the chairman of Committee
And it's good
Finance.
that the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Finance is with us right now, listening, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, can we also get an assurance, Mr. President, that this will no longer be boxed out from the Senate Committee report until the BICAM, until it becomes a law?
Yes, we discussed this already with the Chairman of Committee in Finance, and we both agreed that the bigger portion will now be lodged in the program appropriations, including the government participation. Pero po kasi para hindi naman po masayang yung pondo, those that will be lodged under the unprogram, as I mentioned earlier, pumayag din po ang ating chairman to have a special provision that once the progress billing arrives, priority po talagang tuloy-tuloy.
Ano po yun?
Once the progress billing is due and demandable, the release will be expedited as soon as possible without delay.
So ibig
Maglalagay tayo ng special
ibig
provision.
sabihin po ba, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, kung may capacity sila at meron ng progress billing, pwedeng ilagay na rin dun sa regular program. If. Tama po?
Pwede rin.
Thank you. Thank you,
Mas
Mr.
maganda
President.
sa program, but
Yes.
there's an assurance naman, and with this, the Chairman of the Committee on Finance assured that there will be no delays. Kahit na nasaan program, talagang
By
priority.
the way, Mr. President.
Tsaka wala na siyang kaagaw eh. Unlike before, meron nung, alam niyo na po, yung sagip at yung mga siningit-singit, may kaagaw. Pero ngayon po, wala na siyang kaagaw sa program appropriations.
And saan program, Mr. President, just to put on record, saan program, Mr. President, ano yung mga prerequisites, Mr. President, bago mag-release mula po doon sa unprogram funds, Mr. President? Tama po ba na sabihin na kailangan may bagong buwis? Tama po ba na kailangan may overcollection sa ating mga government-owned and controlled corporations? Dapat po ba ay ito ay sertipikahan ng iba't ibang departamento ng ating pamahalaan? Is that correct, Your Honor, Mr. President?
There's no need for new revenue generating or any taxes, but those are excess revenues or excess funds that will be collected by third quarter or the end of the year, Your Honor.
And the Department of Finance participation would be...
The Bureau of Treasury, Your Honor.
What? The Bureau of
will
Treasury.
certify.
Through the Department of Finance.
That
And
is
the
correct.
Department of Finance must issue a...
Certification.
Certification. And then after the Department of Finance issues certification, the Department of Budget and Management would have to assure that the funds are available. Is that correct, Your Honor?
That is correct. Through the
So,
SARO.
you know,
They have to
merong
issue the
prerequisite,
SARO.
no? Kaya ho sinasabi nyo, mas maganda na nasa program.
That
Wala
is correct.
dun sa unprogram.
Ideally po, it is
Dahil
it
sa
will be better.
program, marami pong cheche-bureche. Hindi ho basta-basta...
And we will still wait if there are additional revenues, Your Honor.
Exactly.
Tsaka third quarter na. We can only avail of the funds by the third quarter.
And not one person, not one entity in the government can actually access or release the funds. Is that correct, Your Honor?
That is correct.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm very happy for the answer of the distinguished gentleman from Saman. Mr. President, let me go to another topic that I'd like to raise. But anyway, I will be awaiting for the report and the projected job generation creation for the 4 subsectors, Mr. President, that mentioned by this representation a while ago. Mr. President, yung DOTR po, as the good gentleman from San Juan would know, over the years, no, lagi nating tinatalakay dito sa Senado yung tinatawag na low disbursement rates, Mr. President. In fact, as of December 2024, nasa 54% yung disbursement rate and 48.94% naman as of 2025 in July, Mr. President. So itong delays in fund utilization, naniniwala po ba kayo, Ginoong Pangulo, na pagka merong delay sa fund utilization, meron din pong delay sa job generation? Would that be a correct statement, Your Honor?
That is correct, Your Honor.
So, Mr. President, what accounts for the low disbursement rate, Mr. President? And perhaps the more important question would be if we would know whether in this particular budget that we are deliberating upon, meron na po tayo, if there are measures, initiatives that are in place to ensure that budget delays do not translate to job losses or missed employment opportunities, Mr. President?
Your Honor, Mr. President, the obligation as of October 2025 is 79.27%, and the disbursement rate is 53.41%.
53.41%. So,
That is
Mr.
correct.
President, obligated na po yung 79.27%. And may we know, 53.41% po yung disbursement po, no? And we are targeting by end of the year, next week po, December na po, no? Halos December na. Ilan po yung mapapataas natin dito sa percentage na to? So, yun yung magandang itanong po natin. Kasi baka yan din po yung gamitin sa atin pag sinabi natin na kaya binawasan, tinapyasan ng DBM, tinapyasan ng GAB, buti na lang, tinaasan pa ng konti ng ating Senate Committee report.
The projection of the OTR Secretary is that the obligation rate will be about 85% by the end of the year, and disbursement rate of about 75%.
So may catch-up plan na po tayo, Mr. President.
They have both catch-up plan and a cash disbursement plan, Your Honor.
Sige, baka pwede lang makahingi po ng copy nun para makita natin how they're going to do it, Mr. President. Mr. President, puntahan po natin yung PUV modernization. And then I'm sure this is also close to the heart of our distinguished colleague, the sponsor of the budget of the OTR. Lagi yung tinatanong sa atin tuwing napag-uusapan yung modernisasyon ng PUV. Ang tanong ho lagi, ito bang modernisasyon ng PUV ay nagbibigay ba ito ng tunay na bagong oportunidad sa ating mga jeepney at bus drivers? O ito ba ating pag-uusapan binibigay pangamba sa ating mga jeepney at bus drivers? Paano natin masisiguro, Mr. President, na pag ito ang usapin, kasi pag ito yung usapin, lumabas po kayo sa kalye, dyan sa Quiapo, dyan sa kung saan po, pag lumabas po kayo dyan, ang usapin na PUV modernization, hanggang ngayon po, hindi ko po nakikita na kasiyahan or joy yung mapifeel mo sa ating mga drivers, jeepney at bus drivers, but more of being anxious or nangangamba po sila kung ano ba yung mangyayari dito, Mr. President. So, may we know the plan and the strategy now of the department with regard to this, Mr. President? I actually remember, Mr. President, when Secretary Vince Dizon assumed office in the Department of Transportation, may isa pong execom, Mr. President, na bigyan ako ng pagkakataon na maupo kasama ang ating mga top leaders ng ating DOTR at nabigyan po tayo ng pagkakataon na makapagsalita doon, maging resource person ng ating mga kasama, Mr. President. So I'm really interested kung ano na po yung update tungkol dito sa PUV modernization.
Your Honor, Mr. President, according to DOTR, the Jeepney Modernization Plan is a good concept, a good program, and has to be prioritized, implemented. Nagkaroon lang ho talaga ng setback because of wrong implementation in the past, but now they are intensifying their efforts to improve the route modification and also operational consolidation. No? Magsasama-sama na po yung iba't ibang operators. No? They will try to resolve. And then when it comes to the jeepney, yung acquisition, DOTR has been negotiating with DBP and Land Bank to restructure the debt para po maging mas magaan po, no, to at the lowest interest possible. And they are now opening the project for tour players to come in to lower the cost of the modern jeep, no? Kasi ngayon po nasa 2.5 million pesos. Medyo may kamahalan if it becomes an open po nila ito for players to come in, then bababa nila ng konti ng standard. It may go as low as 1.2 million pesos per modern jeep, Your Honor. So mas magiging madali, and hopefully with the equity subsidy, yung pong itutulong natin, it will even help the potential the operators at least to pay for yung kanila pong modern jeeps, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Especially nung marinig natin sa distinguished sponsor na inaamin ng ating departamento na mali yung mga nauna ng nais i-implement at nais i-force na lunukin ng ating mga jeepney at bus drivers, Mr. President. Natutuwa din po tayo na inaamin ng ating departamento na totoong pinipilit
ano po, hinog sa pilit noon. Hindi handa.
Hinog sa
pero pinilit po.
Hindi handa. Imagine ho, pinipilit, walang ruta. Doon sa Bulacan sa amin, ay, babanggitin ko sa inyo mamaya kasi halos 7 taon na ho ako dito, taon-taon na tumatayo about it. Kasi parang ang dami ho doon ng mga nabudol, mga co-ops, transportation co-ops, Mr. President, na pinabili ng mga sasakyan. So parang mayroong mafia na nakakopo, ito lang ang pwedeng bilhin na sasakyan. Dapat ito lang. And bumili ho, hindi nangyari yung modernization, nasira mga ulo ho nila. Wala na ho ngayon. Wala na ho sa transportation sector, Mr. President. And nakakalungkot lang, Mr. President, na hindi napapag-aralan pero ipipilit, kagaya ng sabi ng distinguished sponsor, hinog sa pilit. Kaya I hope and pray, Mr. President, na bago tayo magpilit ng proyekto, iba yung political will eh. Pagka tama naman yung gagawin, yeah, do it. No? Have that political will to implement. Pero pag alam mong mali, yung ruta nga, alam mo nang walang ruta eh, bakit mo ipipilit? Bakit mo ipipilit kung napakataas noong kailangan nilang bilhin? At walang option yung mga drivers, Mr. President. Mahirap naman po yun. By the way, Mr. President, how many drivers and operators will be affected with this PUV modernization? O meron bang, of course, may risk yan of displacement. Meron na po ba tayong concrete numbers, figures, para masiguro, masabi natin sa taong bayan na this time around, ready na tayo, this time around, napag-aralan na natin, this time around, maraming options available para sa ating mga kababayan at hindi sila talaga pahihirapan.
The target is about 190,000 jeepneys, Your Honor, for modernization, Mr. President.
And we look at the drivers, operators, Mr. President. May we know if there are studies or assessment made by the department to ensure na hindi masyadong tatamaan yung mga may risk of being displaced, Mr. President, once we implement this program?
That's about if 190,000 jeepneys are used to about 300 to 400,000 drivers.
300 to 400,000 drivers. Anyway, Mr. President, how many are already, I'm sure mayroong mga nag-ano na po di ba? Ilan na po ngayon yung figures natin na nag-modernize, Mr. President? Out of the universe na target na 190,000?
At present, there are about 12,000 modernized jeepneys already.
12,000. Wala pa palang 10%, Mr. President, no?
Wala pa.
At pag tinignan lalo natin yan, yung mga ruta, mas lalong bababa yung porsyento, Mr. President. Anyway, Mr. President, you made mention about financing. Ano ho yung bagong tinitignan ng ating department para masiguro na mas madali na itong magiging modernization? Kanina, nabanggit ng sponsor natin, if I'm not mistaken, from 2.5 million, ibababa ng 1.2 million. And what about the financing, Mr. President? And will there be other options, Mr. President? Because I remember last time when they were forcing the issue, and I will use that word, forcing the issue, iisa lang yung dapat bibilin na brand para magamit at ma-implement yung modernization, which is ridiculous, Mr. President.
Your Honor, that will not happen again, as Secretary Lopez said that they will really open already the market so that other players can come in to lower the cost, to make it more competitive, and at the same time, they have lowered the standards already para nga din bumaba pa yung cost. Kasi from 2.5 million, target po nila bumaba na 1.2 million. And also, if you would add the subsidy of about 400,000, dati 200 lang yun eh. From 260,000, they have increased the subsidy to 400,000. So at least 800,000 na lang po yung pag-uusapan, no? Yun na lang po ilalabas. So 1/3 of the cost will be shouldered by the subsidy.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mr. President. I remember in the discussion about modernization, PUV modernization last time, even our government banks are already questioning, Mr. President, yung plano noon, no? So I hope by this time, even our land bank, our local banks would support this particular program, Mr. President. Anyway, Mr. President, what about yung mga locally made jeepneys, Mr. President, like Sarao, Malagueña, Mr. President? Naisip po ba natin whether or not pwede silang itap, pwedeng magamit, Mr. President, and part of this PUV modernization, Mr. President?
Your Honor, Mr. President, the reason why they are relaxing the standards so that the local players
can also come in.
So that the manufacturers that you mentioned, I think even Francisco Motors, meron na po silang modern jeep, no, that they have offered already.
So that's an option now.
That is already an option. Hindi na yung dating ini-import.
Yes, yes. And that would mean job creation again for our kababayans. So hindi natin bibigyan ng...
So maganda po, 56 out of the 94 models are locally manufactured and assembled.
Ilan po, Mr. President?
56 out of the 94 models.
56.
Or 60% are locally manufactured and assembled.
That's good news, Mr. President, and music to the ears of our people who will benefit, Mr. President, from this program. Mr. President, let me go to another topic, Mr. President. You and I authored, Mr. President, yung Occupational Safety and Health Standards Law, and again, we thank the gentleman from San Juan for his support. Mr. President, gusto lang nating pag-usapan yung workplace safety and labor standards across DOTR sector. Ano po yung mga konkretong hakbang ng departamento to ensure their occupational safety? Perhaps my question would be how many inspections were actually conducted in a year, or for example last year across rail, across the country, yung mga road inspection, aviation, and maritime sectors, Mr. President. At gusto nating malaman, Mr. President, kung ito'y yung mga mananakay natin na masisiguro that they are safe, Mr. President.
Your Honor, Mr. President, according to our Secretary, when it comes to the two ODA funded or the foreign assisted projects, ito pong dalawang railway natin, very strict po standards, no? Every time there's an part of submissions, kasama po yung ano, no? Ang nagche-check the consultant, JICA, the funders, ADB, and even the contractors, no, are being checked, Your Honor, and DOTR also checks, Your Honor. Medyo very strict and very regular po yung kanila pong checking and compliance.
So it's the different stakeholders who are inspecting, Mr. President.
That is correct.
Wala ho bang on top of it na from the department para masiguro na may accountability, Mr. President? Because safety is non-negotiable. Especially, Mr. President, not just to the passengers, but even for the workers, the transport workers, drivers, mechanics, baggage handlers, airside workers, maritime personnel, who we believe face daily risk just to keep our transportation system running.
Your Honor, Mr. President, the DOTR Secretary said he's welcome to any suggestion from Your Honor, but he said that given that the Japanese, this is an ODA, and the Japanese consultants or contractors are in the management team are involved, they are very strict, Your Honor, when it comes to safety. So, but if there's a suggestion that DOTR how the OTR can better participate to make sure that they are on top of the safety procedures that will be followed. They are open to any suggestion.
Under the law that we pass here in the Senate, yung occupational safety and health standards, may inspectors din naman ang DOLE, no? Sila yung i-inspect ng mga workplace, Mr. President. But for me, I feel na yung workplace na pinagtatrabahuhan, yes, pero yung public areas where our passengers go, mga parokyano, whether doon sa mga pantalan, DOTR po yun, di ba? DOTR ang may jurisdiction po sa mga yon. And so, Mr. President, for example, may mga corrective actions na ginagawa po kayo kung hindi ito safe or may mali or may pagkukulang yung isang lugar, Mr. President. Sinasanctions niyo po ito, hindi po ba, Mr. President?
That is correct, Your Honor, Mr. President.
So, itong mga bagay na ito, Mr. President, merong particular bureau ang departamento para masiguro ang safety nila. Is that correct, Your Honor?
Your Honor, Mr. President, ito po ay delegated to the attached agencies. For example, for bus terminals, it will be LTFRB. For the ports, it will be PPA, Your Honor. Airport CAP. For the airports, of course, it will be CAP.
Yeah. Yeah, for example, yung mga mananakay, yung safety, yung I remember there was a news report doon sa walang life vest, di ba? Sa DOTR po 'yon.
Marina po 'yan.
Marina,
yes.
Mr. President. Yes, Mr. President, itong mga Coast Guard natin, and I'm glad that the Senator Loren made mention about this. Yung mga Coast Guard po natin which is receiving 44.6 billion next year. And I'm glad na nasusuportahan po natin yung ating mga Coast Guard. Sila po, alam natin, they face not just harsh weather but geopolitical and maritime threats. And siyempre, kailangan nila ng protection at kailangan nila na masuportahan. How exactly are we improving our Philippine Coast Guard staff's welfare, benefits, and field safety on this particular budget for 2026, Mr. President? Example, Mr. President, do we have updated provisions for hazard pay habang tumataas yung tension dyan sa West Philippine Sea? Updated provisions on their proper equipment, mental health support, and rest protocols for overstretched crews, Mr. President?
Your Honor, Mr. President, at present, through the Senate's intervention with the recommendation of this representation and approved by Chairman Gatchalian, we have increased their subsistence allowance from 150 pesos a day to 350 pesos a day at par now with the members of the armed forces. And also, yung po mga uniform personnel under the DILG, PNP, BFP, we have also increased. That's the Senate intervention.
Finally, Mr. President, because I have heard personally from Your Honor, the sponsor of the measure, about this plan, Mr. President.
That's
so
correct.
Finally, it's
yes, we more than doubled their subsistence, daily subsistence allowance. And then next will be the Philippine Coast Guard Hospital, which has been started. Hopefully, it will be completed in about 3 years. That will cater to Coast Guard personnel. And then,
sama mo ba yung families, immediate families nila dyan? Or just the
yes,
person?
definitely. The families will be included.
Thank you.
And then yung pong sayang po, hindi po na-aprobahan sa NEP, but we'll try again next time, yung emergency medical funds. No? Hopefully, we can approve this and allocate some portion for our Coast Guard personnel emergency medical funds for their for them. And siguro what we can do right now is, sabi ko nga, yung PhilHealth is, we almost doubled the subsidy. No, since all Filipinos are automatically members, we can also make interventions with the PhilHealth president or officials that ito pong mga Coast Guard be given priority also. Just in case, kasi given the nature for work, yung kanila pong exposure and the risk that they are taking by guarding our sovereignty, Your Honor.
Thank you for that, Mr. President. I'd like to put on record that this representation, together with then Senate President Mig Zubiri and Senator J.V. Ernesto, went to Kalayaan Islands. And we have seen the efforts and sacrifices of our men in uniform, especially our Philippine Coast Guards. And I'm happy to hear the report and the figures given to this representation by our dear colleague. Thank
Your Honor,
you.
if I may add, they are also receiving high-risk duty pay, hazardous duty pay, hazard.
Bago lang po
hazard
yan, Mr.
duty
President.
Pay.
Bago lang yan, Mr. President.
Existing ba? This is existing. And the sea duty pay, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Let me go to another topic, Mr. President, so I can finish early. Yung JICA po estimated an increase in the losses per day due to traffic congestion in Metro Manila. Yung 2014 to 2022, binabanggit po ng report nila, 2.4 billion lang nun, Mr. President, nagsimula. 2014. Tapos 2018, naging 3.5 billion. A day po ito, daily losses po ito, no? But in 2022, nag-jump na po to 4.9 billion pesos. And because of the high volume of private cars, Metro Manila has become the world's worst traffic in metro area, topping the 2023 TomTom Traffic Index of metro areas. Drivers in Metro Manila lost the most time due to traffic congestion. Ang pag-aaral po, 117 hours a year, the worst among ASEAN countries. Yung volume of motor vehicles in NCR has increased by 1.1 million in a decade. 2013 to 2023. Average annual daily traffic rose to 3.6 million in 2023 from 2.5 million in 2013. Now you look at the reports being given by the Chamber of Automotive Manufacturers of the Philippines, o yung CAMPI. They already forecasted that 500,000, at least 500,000 new cars will be sold in the country every year. 2025 po, tingnan natin, no? 500,000, 500,000 new cars. Pero ilan ba yung bagong roads? Ilan ba yung bagong bridges? Ilan ba yung bagong daan na po pwedeng paglagyan nitong kalahating million? And I'm only talking about new cars, Mr. President. Parang dito sa Pilipinas, hindi yata wala akong nasisirang sasakyan dito dahil magagaling yung mga TESDA graduates natin Mr. President. So anong balak ng DOTR, Mr. President? Meron ho ba talagang plano? Lagi ho ito, every year, no? Talagang napakabigat na usapin, pero kailangan ho nating solusyonan, kailangan nating hanapan ng solusyon at makita ano ba talaga yung plano natin when you talk about traffic congestion here in Metro Manila, kahit itong Metro Manila lang po, Mr. President.
Mr. President, Your Honor, probably we have been a car-centered society for so long. Nakalimutan na po natin yung mass transit, no? But now, because of the growing population and what really worries me, no, yung pong what you mentioned, is the volume of yung car sales natin every year. Dati po 300,000 na, now it's 500,000. So if you add that in 3 years' time, that's 1.5 million vehicles that will be added to our streets. So the only solution that that's why I've been really passionate about this, is really to fast-track all the railway projects. We have to move from a car-centered society to a mass transit-centered society. Otherwise, kahit na anong dagdag natin ng kalye, I don't think we will be able to keep up with the number of vehicle sales that is added to our streets. So 500,000, dati 300 lang, now it's 500,000. If you add po yung mga EV ngayon na nauuso ngayon, BYD alone was able to sell about 10,000 units. Kaya ang daming BYD. Ngayon, around, na exempted pa. So, we're hoping that we can fast-track the South Commuter Line, the South Long Haul. The MRT-7 hopefully can be operational soon. Add more coaches in LRT-2, MRT-3. Hopefully, we can pursue again yung pong South Long Haul, yung pong papuntang Bicol, and the other railway system, Your Honor, Mr. President. That's my own, my appreciation, Your Honor, because not unless we really shift from a car-centered society to the railway mass transit, talagang magiging giant parking lot tayo in a few years' time with that much volume of vehicles that we have right now, total. Ito po yung total, no? Nasa 3.8 million na po yung total yung mga bagong sasakyan to the years, no? So, and 500,000 a year. So that's it. I think we really have to fast track the railway system. Kaya nga, with the intervention of the Senate, I'd like to thank our colleagues that again we were able to lodge the foreign assisted projects and the program appropriation to ensure their funding that will not be delayed anymore.
Thank you for that, Mr. President. I cannot agree more, Mr. President. And having said that, the only solution that we are looking at is mass transit. There's no way. I don't see any other solution, Mr. President, and I have to agree with you. But before I dwell and emphasize more on the importance of our mass transit system, for the meantime, what can we do? What can DOTR do in order to address this situation, Mr. President? Walang bagong daan, pero kalahating milyon. Ngayong 2025 lang, at binanggit ng ating distinguished sponsor, na halos 1.5 million cars, vehicles ang nadadagdag. Meron po bang makapagsabi sa atin dito? Kung alam natin, kalahating milyon ang bagong sasakyan, ilan naman yung bagong daan? Huwag yung dating daan, yung bagong daan. Ilan yung bagong daan compared sa kalahating milyon na bagong sasakyan? Pag sinuma total po natin ito, yung EDSA lang tuwing rush hour, napapagkamalang longest parking lot in the whole world. Kasi hindi umaandar ito ba yung goal natin dito sa Pilipinas, sa Metro Manila? Gawin nating parking lot ang buong Metro Manila. Yun yung mangyayari kung hindi tayo kikilos, hindi din tayo naghahanda. I'll go to this later, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, that when you talk about mass transit, where are we, Mr. President? I think all of us would want to try na maging part nito, Mr. President. Pwede tayong lahat mag-trend, etc. Pero, siyempre gusto natin maayos. Tuwing nakikita po natin yung rush hour na pila doon sa EDSA, doon sa mga railways po natin, na pagka umuulan, lumulusong din sila sa baha. Napakahaba ng pila, kulang yung bagon. Talagang madi-dissuade, demotivate na gumamit ng mass transit. But again, Mr. President, before I go there dun sa mass transit, ano yung ngayon na pwede nating gawin, Mr. President? Nakukonsulta ba ang DOTR dito sa mga bagong sasakyan na binebenta left and right? Of course, I understand, Mr. President, the importance of balancing, di ba? Kailangan natin ng ekonomiya. Pumasok dito yung mga mag-i-invest, magbebenta ng sasakyan. Magbebenta ng sasakyan, kalahating milyon na bagong sasakyan, pero wala namang daan. So saan gagamitin yung sasakyan? Bunta nga ho kayo dun sa Metro Manila. Dito lang, sa Maynila, Mr. President. I grew up in UST, Mr. President. Pag tinignan nyo po yung lugar dun sa area na yun, sa paligid, lahat ho ng paggabi ho, napakadami yung sasakyan na nakapark. So nag-file ho ako ng bill, no parking, no car policy. Pag wala kang parking, hindi ka pwede magkaroon ng sasakyan. Ako, napakadami kong nakaaway, Mr. President. Kasi halos lahat pala ng tao doon sa area, halos lahat, wala ho talaga silang parking. Pero pinapark nila yung sasakyan nila sa kalye, Mr. President. But these things, Mr. President, itong nararanasan natin, it's gonna get worse, Mr. President, if we are not going to step up our game or do something, Mr. President. I know long-term solution yung mass transit, but what about this time, Mr. President? Tatanggapin na lang po ba natin ito? Ngayong Pasko, magpapasko, talagang tatanggapin na lang natin na parking lot na ang buong Metro Manila.
Well, the dilemma of DOTR is that they can only talk about their ito pa mga rail projects, no. Sabi ko dapat wala talagang delays because this is the only way. As I will time and again say that railway is the only way to really solve all of this. But at present, siguro po yung roads kasi we are DPWH, the enforcement are LGUs and MMDA. Napakahirap po talaga with the present situation right now, no? Especially very alarming is what you mentioned, yung pong 500,000 vehicle sales every year. So again, we will just have to fast track and improve the rails para po we really have to have a shift from a car-centered society to a mass transit. And I think that this will have a lot of benefits, Your Honor, Mr. President. Hindi lang po ito convenience, hindi lang po traffic congestion. It will create, it will spread out the development, Your Honor, Mr. President. Pag natapos yung NSCR, for example, South Long Haul, we will create growth nodes and growth areas in different parts of the country and creating jobs in that area and thereby decongesting Metro Manila as well. So I think yun po ang solusyon by laying down the tracks. We create growth nodes, growth areas, we decongest Metro Manila, and we create jobs in the other parts of the country. Mahabang matagal na proseso, pero that should have been done 30 or 40 years ago, Mr. President, Your Honor. And that's what our ASEAN neighbors did when they invested heavily in infrastructure in the 90s. And now they are reaping the fruits of their labor. Pumunta lang kayo ng Bangkok, na Indonesia, na Malaysia, nako, nakakainggit. Sobrang nakakainggit yung kanilang infrastructure. And it's not rocket science. So we should have done that 30, 40 years ago. And hopefully we can now fast track and play catch up this time. Pakita natin na meron naman tayong positive, hindi pa na-scandal. We are stalled. We cannot just go on crying over spilled milk all the time. Kailangan may pinapakita rin tayong ginagawa, Your Honor, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Gaya ng kasabihan ng mga matatanda, laging nasa huli yung pagsisisi. And that's the main reason why we wanted to raise this issue, kasi kung wala ho tayong, hindi tayo mag-step up, wala ho talagang mangyayari. Now, with regard to the mass transit, Mr. President, where are we now when you talk about mass transit? Ilan po yung mananakay natin ngayon? Ilan yung target natin para mapagsilbihan po sila sa darating na taon 2026, Mr. President?
Your Honor, Mr. President, ang immediately na naantay natin yung MRT-7, no? Yung pong papuntang from Quezon City to San Jose to Bulacan.
At 1 milyon na trabaho,
yes,
direct and indirect jobs ang kayang i-generate nito, Mr. President.
Yes, the projected operation will be first quarter 2027 with the 12 stations. So 2027 po ang target nila.
First quarter of 2028, full 14 stations.
And then by first quarter of 2028, the full 14 stations.
Yung first quarter of 2027, ilan pong stations? Sorry.
12 stations.
12 stations,
stations.
Your Honor.
Kasama na po dyan yung sa Bulacan, no, Mr. President? Sa second pa.
Hanggang Sacred Heart pa lang daw. So yung 2028 para po
Sorry,
yung sa
na-carried
Bulacan.
away, Mr. President. Bulacanyo. So 2028 po ay ilang stations na po?
14 stations complete.
14 stations complete. By first quarter din, Mr. President?
Yes, Your Honor. First quarter 2028.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, that's, at least may good news tayong aabangan, Mr. President. But,
Sayang nga po kasi kung hindi na pushback, even partially operational sana yung Metro Manila Subway and NSCR by 2028.
You mean hindi na pushback at di napunta saan program?
Saan program po? Na-delay tayo na 4
Ayoko
years,
nang
Your
balikan,
Honor.
Mr. President. Masyado nang masakit yung salitang unprogrammed. Mr. President, last point na lang po na gusto kong maitanong, Mr. President, yung pong digitalization ng LTFRB. Sorry, kanina nandyan na po kayo eh. Balikan ko ulit si Sir. Kasi, Mr. President, kanina binabanggit ni Senator Loren, every time magpalit ng administrasyon, nag-iiba, nagpalit ng secretary, nag-iiba. Babanggitin ko no, yung mga tinutulungan natin na mga co-ops sa Bulacan. And some of them are here, by the way, Mr. President. Let me acknowledge them. Some of them are here. For the past 6-7 years, Mr. President, gulong-gulo sila dun sa modernization, Mr. President. Pero ito po, ang gusto kong tanong sa digitalization. May we know how will LTFRB's digitalization and expanded route monitoring activities improve yung pong accuracy of route rationalization nationwide? Ito ho kasi very important key element na would enhance our public transport efficiency, would reduce corruption through automated processes, and improve yung monitoring ng mga provincial, intercity, and last mile routes, Mr. President?
Your Honor, Mr. President, LTFRB is now undertaking ambitious digitalization program. Una-una po, online filing na. Pangalawa, they will already have digital mapping of the routes. So yung pong mga overlapping.
Matagal na nating sinuggest si Senator Grace Poe pa yung chair noon ng Public Services. Sige po, please.
Ngayon po, gagawin na po. Attorney Vigor Mendoza has committed.
Tatandaan ko yan Brad, anong pangalan po, Mr. President?
Attorney.
Next
Well,
year,
we have confidence with Attorney Vigor Mendoza because LTO naman po yung kaniyang pong commitment when he was LTO head. Yung pong 12 million backlog na plate numbers, ngayon po 1 million na lang.
Yes,
no? So,
I remember that.
I think he delivers.
Yes.
So,
thank you.
I am confident that with the LTFRB under Attorney Vigor Mendoza will be able to deliver ditong digitalization program, Your Honor.
Kaya yung LTFRB is set to receive 912 million representing 22.74% increase from the current year's budget of 743 million. So yung total amount po, yung bulk 357 million will be dedicated to the board's MOOE, including expenses for the conduct of route monitoring, validation, and surveys, inspection and of units and garages and other administrative activities, as well as expenses to support its digitalization initiatives. Ito po yun, no, Mr. President?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Mr. President, yung last question ko na lang po. How will this translate to job creation for inspectors, survey teams? Nakita ko may mga survey teams, IT personnel, and regional staff. If available lang po, Mr. President, if we can request your estimate number of jobs that will be created out of this program of LTFRB.
Your Honor, Mr. President, they are now in the process of reviewing their organizational chart and they will be submitting ito pong yung bagong rationalization, sama na po yung mga bagong their expanded manpower.
Meaning tatanggalin na yung mga mafia doon. Dami doon.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. President, I will end my interpellation by again thanking our dear colleague, Senator J.V. Ejercito, for sponsoring the budget of the OTR. We are in full support of their budget. We as mentioned earlier, I sat with then Secretary Vince Dizon and the entire team during their executive session, and we support also our Secretary heading the DOTR. So maraming salamat po sa DOTR family. Senator JV, maraming salamat. Mr. President, maraming salamat po.
Thank you also, Senator Joel, for the support, especially for our program, especially po sa railway projects natin. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, yes, I believe Senator was next. We just want to say that it's been 6 hours and 48 minutes. Very popular pala talaga itong DOTR, Mr. President, department. But we have a couple of more members who are... yes, while we are waiting for the next interpellator, may we recognize the distinguished chairman of the Committee on Finance to respond to the manifestation made by our distinguished Senate President earlier about any sort of mangling of the budget by the Senate, which there's no truth to it, Mr. President. If we can recognize our distinguished chairman of the committee, no other than Senator Win Gatchalian.
Senator Win Gatchalian, the chairman of the Finance Committee, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I heard the Senate President earlier mentioned about projects that were allegedly removed in the GAB, Mr. President. So for the record, wala ho tayong ginalaw na project sa GAB. No? So lahat po ng ipinasa ho sa atin from the House of Representatives, in-adapt po natin, except for 28 projects out of the 6,113 projects. Itong 28 po, nung pag-review ho natin, kasama po yung DPWH, meron po mga duplicate projects, may repetitive projects, may mga projects po na red flags. So tinanggal po itong 28. Ang halaga po nitong projects ay 1.2 billion pesos. So other than that, we adopted the projects under the General Appropriations Bill that was transmitted to the Senate. So wala pong katotohanan na tinanggal ho natin yung projects. Ang nakita kong dahilan, Mr. President, is for the first time, in-upload ho natin yung Senate Committee Report together with the annexes in our website. At yung committee report po and the annexes will only reflect projects that we deleted or we added. Hindi nila kung hindi natin ginalaw yung projects, hindi ho nila makikita doon sa committee report kasi nasa GAB pa rin ho siya. No? So tingin ko ho, nung tinignan ho nila yung committee report, wala yung projects doon, inakala ho nila na dinelete natin yung projects. That's not the case. I think my assumption is they misread the Senate Committee report. No? So ulitin ko po, the Senate Committee report only contains the projects that we have deleted or we have added. Kung wala ho doon, ibig sabihin na carry po yung GAB. No? So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much for the clarification. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. And just for clarification, I believe these projects are the infrastructure projects of the DPWH in the different districts. Is that correct, Mr. Chairman? That's already through the NEP. NEP yun.
Tama, NEP po yun.
Galing sa NEP yun,
Yes,
National
correct.
Expenditure Program.
Correct. And then, meron pong mga adjustments sa GAB ang House na hindi naman natin ho ginalaw. No? We didn't touch that.
Mahaba ba yan?
Hindi pa nagbabay ka, bakbaka na.
Okay, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, next to interpolate the measure is our distinguished senator from Davao and Batangas, no other than Senator Christopher Bongo. Huh? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, the sponsor is not here yet. I like the suit of the good sponsor, Mr. President. He reminds you of the COMELEC chairman in his outfit. Naka three-piece suit siya, Mr. President. Maybe you now recognize Senator Christopher Go, Mr. President.
Senator Christopher Bongo, gentleman from Davao, is recognized.
Salamat, Mr. President. Good sponsor, and to the DOTR, magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat. Mr. President, transportation has always been the backbone of our economy. It fuels growth, connects our communities, and allows our people to have access to education, work, and opportunities. Yet, despite the progress in recent years, our country continues to face challenges in the transport sector. Among these is the worsening traffic congestion in Metro Manila and other highly urbanized areas. Halos araw-araw, milyon-milyong Pilipino po ang nasasadlak sa matinding traffic, causing not only lost productivity but also robbing our people of precious time with their families. Ang nakakalungkot, Mr. President, traffic congestion has been identified as costing our economy billions of pesos daily. Mr. President, we must build on the momentum of the previous administration's golden age of infrastructure. Projects such as the North-South Commuter Railway, the Metro Manila Subway, and the rehabilitation of MR3 are concrete steps that gave our people hope for a better transport system. Let us continue expanding our railway network, modernizing our airports and seaports, and investing in sustainable mass transport systems that will not only ease congestion, but also create safer, more reliable, and more efficient travel for all. Short questions lang po ito, Mr. President, lalong-lalo na po dito sa status ng mga infrastructure projects which were approved during the last administration of former President Duterte. Na-implement pa ho ba ito sa ngayon at ilan na ho ba ang ongoing at tapos na po, Mr. President?
Your Honor, Mr. President, I agree with you. No? In fairness po, these major infrastructure projects were started during the time of former President Rodrigo Duterte, and I was also a witness when the late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who was a friend to the Philippines, committed that they will undertake the North-South Commuter Line. Nandun po tayo sa dinner. And Metro Manila Subway System. That was 2016. I was so happy, excited. Sabi ko, finally, matutuloy na itong mga pangarap natin. No? And, but in line with that also, sana meron po South Long Haul. Ito po yung dapat Bicol Line. And the Mindanao Railway System. Unfortunately, these two projects did not materialize. It is put on hold right now. But the NSCR, or the North-South Commuter Line, which stretches from Laguna, Metro Manila, and up to Clark in Pampanga, is ongoing and full blast. The Metro Manila Subway System is also ongoing in full blast. MRT-7 will be online by 2027, hopefully, and completed by 2028. Then the MRT rehab, it's still, it's still because of the Sumitomo, when Sumitomo re-entered as the maintenance provider, the operation has been improved immensely. So yun po ang natin, no? Hopefully, under this administration, yung pong pangako kasi dapat build better more eh. Sana po ma-pursue yung South Long Haul and Mindanao Railway System, no? Which has been put on hold. But the two, which were started the previous administration, are now full blast. The NSCR and the Metro Manila Subway System.
Hindi naman naapektuhan sa mga controversies ngayon, Mr. President, ang inyong implementation ng mga proyekto.
It's not affected in the sense that because these are overseas development assistance, these are foreign assisted projects. So tuloy-tuloy naman po siya. Ang magandang ginawa lang po natin sa Senado ngayon ay nilagay na po natin sa program appropriations, no, yung pong foreign assisted yung loans and yung government participation. It was lodged kanina, matagal namin pinag-usapan ni Sen. Joel na nailagay po ito sa program appropriations 2024 yata, no? Kaya nagkaroon po ng problema and delays na nagresulta rin na kung bakit ang JICA ay umangala mismo sa Pangulo. But through the Senate's intervention, we made sure this time that it will now be lodged under the program appropriations, both the GOP portion and the foreign and the loan proceeds. And yung pong merong may iwan sa program appropriations, pero malita porsyento na lamang, but there will be a special provision that I will be proposing, which Senator Gatchalian agreed, that in case yung pong billing, for example, yung loan releases are demanded, priority po ito, talaga release para wala hong delay, Your Honor.
So, ibig mo sabihin, Mr. President, mas stricto po itong mga foreign assisted projects, minomonitor po ng mga foreign assisted projects, minomonitor po ng mga foreign counterpart na maiwasan po yung pinagsasamantalahan po ng ilan, Mr. President?
Very strict po because it's ADB funded, JICA also. Napaka-stricto po ng project management team. Composed of composite, no? May Japanese, meron pong Pilipino. Pero alam naman po natin pag Japanese po yan, iba ang quality, iba rin po yung kanilang pagiging stricto sa pagbabantay ng mga proyekto, Your Honor.
Salamat at bawat sentimo po ay dapat accounted po. Dahil pondo rin po ito ng bayan, yung counterpart po ng budget po ng Pilipinas. Anyway, the DOTR previously announced that the launch of the pilot operations of Cebu Bus Rapid Transit, no? Ito pong Cebu BRT. Natuloy ho ba ito last September? Ano ang status po nito, Mr. President?
It was about to be launched, Your Honor. Ito pong Cebu Bus Rapid Transit. Unfortunately, two major calamities struck Cebu, yung pong earthquake and itong recently, itong bagyo, yung flooding. No? So, na-push back lang po, but it is ready for launching already. And I think it was na-resolve na rin po yung ilang issues. No? dati sa Kapitolyo, pero I think it has been resolved. So, na-pushback lang po.
Ito rin pong 2.5 billion was allocated for fuel subsidy to transport sector affected by rising fuel prices. Ano na ang status ng programa? Malaking tulong po ito sa ating mga public utility drivers. Ika nga, bawat piso, bawat sentimo ay napakahalaga po nito. Pambili na yun ng pagkain sa kanilang mga pamilya, baon sa mga anak. So, pinatuloy ho ba itong programang ito?
Your Honor, Mr. President, meron ho kasing requirement to. We have to reach the $80 per barrel, no, para ito po yung magiging trigger para ma-release po ito. So not until we reach this limit, hindi po magagamit ito pong subsidy, Your Honor.
Ano ang status na po sa improvements ng NAIA? And of course, no, during the previous administration, to decongest our airports, especially NAIA, the DOTR led by then Secretary Tugade, constructed new airports and improved existing ones. Dami na po magagandang airports tulad ng sa Legazpi, sa province ng Albay. They were able to complete more than 200 airport projects, including long-delayed international airport projects. Kasama na po dyan yung Bohol Panglao International Airport. Ito pong Mactan Cebu International Airport. Clark, napakaganda po na inumpisahan rin po noon ni na BCDA Chairperson, now Secretary Vince Dizon. At marami pong mga rehabilitation of airports severely damaged by natural calamities in previous years. At interesado rin po ako na malaman ano na ang development sa sinagawang mga airport. I also wrote a letter to the committee to support and push for the funding of the Mati Airport. It will help decongest the Davao International Airport, no? Dahil 3 hours po ang biyahe. Ito po isa rin po sa iyong sinuportahan na Mr. Sponsor. Sana po tuloy-tuloy na po ito at maging operational po itong airport na ito dahil sa ngayon, minsan naglalanding doon, merong tumatawid na mga aso. Sana maging operational na po ito. Sayang naman po. And it will help boost the tourism in Davao Oriental. Malaking tulong po ito. Sana po tuloy-tuloy rin po ang pagpupondo nitong Mati Airport na dati pa nating pinaglalaban, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. President, Your Honor, thank you for your questions and also concern on the airports. With NAIA, I think there has been considerable improvement. One of the more successful PPP ventures, no, with San Miguel. Right now, I think with only 1 year, no, malaki na po ang bago po sa NAIA, and we can see bigger, more improvements coming in the years. So we're very optimistic of that. When it comes to the other airports, the upgrading of airports and improvement are continuous, no? Like for example, in our Senate intervention, upgrading of of other airports, regional airports. Ang target ng DOTR is to upgrade almost all airports to lengthen the runways and for most of the airports to be nitrated para dumami po ang flights, no, ma-spread out yung flights. Nabanggit niyo po yung Legazpi, the Senate allocated 1 billion for its improvement. Siargao Airport, we allocated 100 million. For the regional airports, the one we will be improving at Camiguin, Bukidnon, Catbalogan, Daet, and even yung pong binanggit nyo kaninang Mati na airport, we also put funding for initial fund. It will be multi-year, Your Honor, Mr. President, because we want to open that side of Davao, no? Yung Davao Oriental, magaganda yun eh. Davao Oriental, Davao Occidental, and it will improve even Surigao and Caraga region. Kasi magandang area yon, kaya lang, as you mentioned, it's 3 or 4 hours away from Davao City. So hopefully in 2 or 3 years' time, if we can complete the airport, mapapahaba natin yung runway, we'll put the terminals, it will be operational by that time. So it will open a new gateway for tourism and for commerce, Your Honor, Mr. President.
Salamat, Mr. Sponsor, sa yung walang sawang suporta sa mga airports natin. The NEDA DOTR road crash costing model estimates that road crashes cost our economy about 105 billion annually due to productivity losses, hospitalizations, and infrastructure damages. How does the department intend to address the rising number of deaths and injuries on our roads? Bilang isa rin pong motorcycle rider, tulad po ng sponsor na motorcycle rider din po, paano po natin na-address ang road safety risk na kinakaharap ng ating mga motorcycle riders? May budget po ba para dito, Mr. President?
Your Honor, Mr. President, earlier, Senate President Soto interpellated and he was proposing to add a budget for the road safety action plan, no? Kasi po wala pong budget yon. And this will help a lot in terms of road safety, no? Kasi alam nyo, si SP po natin, sabi ko among us, siya lang talaga yung nagdadrive araw-araw, no? Na walang driver, walang backup, wala lahat. So he knows the real score in our roads, to know. So hopefully, if we can fund this will help improve in the prevent road crashes, no? By having ito pong mga driver's education, lalo na po siguro, I'm a rider, a motorcycle just like you, more than 50-60% of the road crashes involve motorcycles. Of course, there's only 2 wheels, mas talaga, prone to accidents, but meron po tayong proposal that mandatory rider's education will be conducted before anybody is given the opportunity to purchase a motorcycle. Kumbaga gagawin nating mandatory and rider's education bago po sila pagbilan ng motorcycle, and also to renew or to apply for a license na category, kasi may category iba yung motorcycle. So kailangan na rider's education. So LTO and the DOTR intends to make that requisite, no, yung pong rider's education. Honor.
Salamat po, Mr. President. Last 2 questions na lang po. I also note that we must further support the budget of the Philippine Coast Guard in light of the challenges faced by the PCG in the West Philippine Sea, and considering that they are crucial in our disaster rescue operations. Laking tulong po nito tuwing merong disaster. I filed the Senate Bill 682, or the proposed Philippine Coast Guard Modernization Act, to expand the capabilities of the Philippine Coast Guard through significant asset upgrades and organizational development. But while this is pending, I hope we could already lend our support to the budget of the Philippine Coast Guard for its modernization. The PCG requested a budget of 62 billion to the DBM, but only 35 billion was approved. May we know what programs and projects will be affected by this? What programs will be covered by the 8 billion added in the committee report? Should it be approved, no? Pagtulungan po sana natin ang ating madagdagan yung pondo ng Philippine Coast Guard.
Your Honor, Mr. President, you're correct. No? The Senate Committee recommended and added 8 billion for the budget of the Philippine Coast Guard. Mostly, ang pinaka-major acquisitions will be the vessels, no? Mayroon tayong 97-meter, yun po yung pinakamalaking barko po ulit, Teresa Magbanwa, of this type that will be purchased, na 97-meter multi-role response vessel. And tatlo ba yung 487 mo? For procurement, yes. For procurement, 3 more 87-meter vessel that will greatly enhance the capability of the Coast Guard, especially in the West Philippine Sea. But the biggest benefit for our Coast Guard personnel is the Senate's intervention of increasing the subsistence allowance from 150 pesos to 350 pesos per day.
Thank you. Let me put into the record my full support for Philippine Coast Guard also. Earlier this year, there were alleged incidents of tanimbala in the NAIA. Meron pa ba ito? O kala ko nawala na ito? Tagal na since 2016 during the time of former President Duterte. Na maalala ko galit na galit po siya dahil talagang pinapahirapan po ang ating mga OFWs na mga inosente naman po na nagtatrabaho lamang pero nagiging biktima po nitong tanimbala. At sa maalala ko, tapos wala na po ito. So totoo bang the DOTR has fired 3 employees of the OTS over alleged involvement in the extortion scheme? O ibang scheme po ang ginawa nila? Ano bang hakbang ang ginagawa ng DOTR para masiguro na hindi na maulit itong tanimbala scheme na bumibiktima sa ating mga kababayan, lalo-lalo na po sa mga OFWs? For this year, 450 million was allocated for the purchase of body-worn cameras for transport security. Malaking tulong po ito na mayroon silang body cam ang ating mga transport security personnel. Totoo ba itong naiulat this year or ibang scheme po ang ginawa?
Your Honor, Mr. President, doon po sa yung pong tatlong natanggal, it's not anymore under Secretary Dizon or Secretary Lopez. Yung tatlo yata yun na natanggal. It was previously under Secretary Bautista, 3 personnel. Pero yung po sa tanimbala, according to Secretary Lopez, there are no incidents anymore. Kung sakali man, baka daw yung mga amulet o yung pong anting-anting, nalilet go na po yun. No? Wala hong, as of the present, they have no knowledge of any tanimbala.
So, ibang insidente po ito, yung natanggal.
Iba po. Ito po yung kumain yata ng sumubo ng pera, Your Honor, Mr. President.
It's not tanimbala. Anyway, with the...
And also, yung just to add, we also added budget for OTS for them to procure body worn cameras. So lahat po ng OTS personnel manning the X-rays at airports will have body-worn cameras already. So to prevent yung magkaroon ng mga irregularity at ng mga kalokohan, hindi maiwasan na po yun kasi lahat po sila magkakaroon ng body-worn camera.
And with the able leadership now of OTS head, si USEC former General Gilbert Cruz, siya na bang magaling naman po yun, so kayang-kaya na niya yun. Na mapigilan po yung mga extortion scheme. Anyway, lastly, Mr. President, speaking of OTS, minsan po sakay ako sa airport, napadaan po ako dyan sa security sa isang sa NAIA terminal, domestic flight. Paghubad ko po sa jacket ko, nung kinuha ko na sa tray, meron lang po silang pinaabot na mensahe. Sir, baka naman ma-follow up lang yung bonus namin for Christmas. That was a week ago. I think na-release na ho ba yung bonus nila? Para magsipag po yung ating mga empleyado po ng OTS, para mas pag-igihan pa nila ang kanilang trabaho to ensure security ng ating mga pasahero.
According to our OTS head, newly installed OTS head this year, former General Gilbert Cruz, yes, it has been released, the bonuses and their salaries, Your Honor, Mr. President.
Salamat. Mga disiplinado naman yung inyong mga OTS personnel sa airport and they're doing their job. Yun lang po, Mr. President. My full support always sa ating DOTR. Maraming salamat. And of course, sa ating bagong secretary. Kayang-kaya mo yan. Magaling po ito ang ating secretary ng DOTR, Secretary Banoy Lopez. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Sponsor.